Welcome to the video guide for Tartarus Wrath Legend, the final Legend Agato Uprising boss fight difficulty released as part of patch 2.10.0 of Dragalia Lost. The final Legend difficulty Agato fight we're expecting, this fight brings mechanics that require a bit of finesse to clear. As always, my name is Xenozilus, and let's get straight to it. Legend Tartarus follows the expert pattern somewhat, but the bubble mechanics have been changed up enough that I'd consider Legend Tartarus to almost be a different fight entirely. Either way, the abilities associated with each portal are mostly the same. As with all Agato fights, certain mechanics and attacks will be skipped, or repeated based on phase progression and remaining hit points. Tartarus opens the fight with punishment arrows. This fires off 4 slow projectiles. If these reach the walls, they'll split further and hit much harder, so tank these with a non-DPS unit as they'll inflict Fury of the Fallen, a damage capping debuff. In co-op you can use a Garleuden to tank these, or a Hildegard with sufficient shielding and defense buffs. Things progress as normal until the first portal is opened. Each portal now applies the Curse of Nihility for a split second when you enter, stripping certain buffs, and they have unique conditions on top of the existing Curse poison afflictions. Portal 1 is fairly simple. It fires off slow line AoEs that detonate against the wall. Getting caught by the line will kill you in one shot, so be wary. Otherwise, chew through the shadow as normal. Portal 2 can be skipped with enough DPS, but if you need to clear it, use a healer. It inflicts Creeping Corrosion, a damage over time debuff that's removed by healing, and the shadow has a temporary invulnerability buff lasting for roughly 20 seconds. This can't be dispelled, so you'll need to outlast it by healing before clearing the shadow in a few hits. Dimensional Shift is replaced by Dimensional Field. Players need to manually enter the bubbled state by sitting in the big bubble for a couple of seconds. This is necessary to survive Mortal Chaser. This targets the nearest 2 players with a set of purple markers. Once these disappear, a lethal purple AoE will spawn under the player. If this is buffed with Relentless Rage, this becomes map-wide. Survive this by either entering the bubble or by dragon tanking the explosion. Since 2 characters are targeted one after another, be wary of getting caught in the first chaser if you have the second chaser and are trying to enter the bubble. Even though the second player's markers are delayed, the 2 closest targets are decided at the time the first marker is placed, so watch positioning. You'll also see Draconic Mines. This spawns a series of purple orbs around the arena. Touching these deals a small amount of damage but grants Dragon Gauge. These only last for a short while, so pick them up while you can. That covers it for the mechanics that might not be immediately obvious. Once you clear the first health bar, we move on to Phase 2. Phase 2 starts with Draconic Mines again, but it spawns more orbs in this phase. After some of Tartarus' filler rotation and dealing enough damage, the third portal is opened as well as applying multiple stacks of Relentless Rage and a 50% defense buff to Tartarus. There's a couple of ways of handling the fight from here on out, but I'll cover the portals first. The Shadow in Portal 3 has 2 buffs, a regeneration buff and a 50% defense buff. Either bring someone capable of Dispel, or bring someone who can kill it between regeneration ticks such as Ilya. The Shadow's attack spawns an inner circle AoE followed by a ring. Dodge out then in, and you can avoid all damage. The Shadow in Portal 4 applies a shield to itself when it attacks, which can be broken with a Force Strike. Bash it as normal between these shields. Portal 3 opening is followed by Dimensional Field and Mortal Chasers. Since Tartarus can't be dispelled before the third portal is dealt with, these chasers will be map-wide. If the first player targeted by chasers enters the third portal, that takes care of one, but the following chaser will still have to be dealt with using a combination of the Dimensional Field or dragon tanking. Otherwise, gather in the bubble and wait for the portal player to come out to free everyone. After this comes Punishment Waves. These now spawn multiple sets of 4 waves covering the whole arena that also inflict a short duration bleed debuff. This isn't too bad in solo play, but in co-op the bleed hits hard enough to bring you to 1 HP, preventing you from taking multiple waves in short succession. In co-op, all players will need to rotate taking waves to share the damage. There's nothing too new until you reach Berserk. Berserk has the same effects as always, adding the Force Strike vulnerability and turning some red telegraphed attacks purple. Depending on your DPS, clearing all of the portals is optional. The fastest runs typically only clear the first portal and ignore the rest. If you cleared portals 3 and 4, Tartarus will open Berserk with a set of Void Showers coupled with Chaotic Nebula. It's fairly simple to just dodge into the area not covered in purple, but your AI may struggle to get through this in one piece in solo. If you skipped portals 3 and 4 and just pushed to Berserk by dragon tanking mechanics, you'll skip these lasers. After that, Tartarus will enter a rotation of Draconic Mines, Mortal Chasers, Dimensional Fields, Chaotic Nebulae, and filler purple attacks. Be wary of being behind him as he tends to spam a purple tail swipe, which is pretty quick. Force Striker's Overdrive bar away, using Dragon Burst if available, since you get copious amounts of Dragon Gauge in this fight. Rinse and repeat, and you'll be done with the fight. The fight itself doesn't feel too bad in solo. Once you know how to handle the mechanics, execution isn't too tricky. I find it a bit more difficult to handle in co-op however, as having to coordinate portals, bubbles, and how to handle chasers means that I don't think this fight is going to be easy to clear with random matchmaking. The specific things I bring attention to for co-op are the timings for entering the third portal, watching spacing between players while handling chasers, and coordinating sharing punishment waves. Team composition wise, if you're looking to tackle this in the conventional as Cygames intended way, you'll want to bring a healer and a dispeller specifically for handling portals 2 and 3, and then units with decent force strikes or gauge accelerator for handling Berserk. Popular units include Hildegard, Ilya, and all of the light Gala adventurers. The current meta forming seems to want Gala Ordric, Gala Uden, and Hildegard as the main team composition, preferring an Ilya in the 4th slot. For more advanced players, there's compositions centered around skipping mechanics utilizing coordinated Daikokuten transformations, but I consider that outside of the scope of this video. Given enough time, I think text guides will show up on main chord, so keep an eye out there. If you have further questions, feel free to leave a comment or pop by my Twitch streams. I stream Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9:30 PM BST. As always, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.